My dear viewers, beginning today is the official Alliteration Gaming Patreon and channel members. Throughout my Patreon, we've got quite a few tiers you can check out in order to gain special perks and even commission videos that you'd like to see me upload onto the channel. Every tier includes a shout out on my supporter card at the beginning of all of my videos, along with the benefits of the tier itself. Following that, you can now also join the Alliteration Nation by becoming a channel member on the YouTube side of things. Pledging your subscription here as a member of the channel is going to grant you the same shout out on my supporter card as all the Patreon tiers do, as well as access to the members only channel on my Discord. You'll gain a member badge that will level up as you stay subscribed and access to my exclusive emotes when I stream on YouTube. If you're interested in checking out the Patreon, I'm going to have the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below, as well as the link to my Discord should you want to join that as well. And if you want to become a channel member, the big, beautiful join button is front and center on my homepage right here. And if you do decide to support the channel in any way whatsoever, know that I am unimaginably grateful, and I can't wait to provide you with even more top-notch content at my trademark top speed. Now, let's get on to the video. Good evening, my dear viewers. Welcome to another Alliteration Gaming video. My name's Levi, and today, our community's favorite and real-life Mineta himself, Leenoco, is going to be responsible for bringing this video to you guys. He has utilized the Character Spotlight tier on Patreon to bring down upon me the task of showcasing, you guessed it, Minoru Mineta. Mineta is a 6-hand size character with 27 health and the evil, order, and water symbols. He's got 3 abilities that all provide some very unique angles of disruption and power to your game plan. First off, his response is going to allow you to pay health to force your rival to commit down one of their resources every single time an attack is blocked. You don't get to pick what foundation gets hit, but trading 1 health for 1 commit is a really fantastic exchange rate. And since it activates when you stop your rival's attacks or when they block your own, it's going to pull great double duty for both defense and offense. This response makes attacking in some Mineta a little sticky, especially in the early game, since he might start pinning down your resources during those really important early turns and leave you wide open. Early in the game, committing 1 foundation is much more punishing when it means committing a 4th of your stage rather than an 8th or a 9th. And you don't really ever want to fall in such a position because, as unassuming as he looks, Mineta can put out some real damage. His enhance to give +2 damage to any attack as long as you've got a card in your card pool is not difficult to turn on at all, coming down either once your rival starts blocking or through all of the abilities inside of your deck. Lastly, to help you deal with those really scary attacks, his last enhance allows you to commit Mineta himself and bring an attack all the way down to its base level of speed and trap it there, not allowing it to be granted any speed bonuses whatsoever. That's right, we can even use Mineta's sticky balls to stick an attack's speed in place. A fantastic exchange rate that can be postured for both offense and defense, stopping your rival's moves from getting too hard to block and bringing your own attacks back up if they get interacted with negatively. None of Mineta's other abilities are playable while he's committed though, so make sure when you're using this you don't leave yourself stuck using your own response. Together, all of these powers are going to come together to create a playstyle which has us aim to use our quirk to clog our rival's card pool with tons of our sticky balls, making it so much harder for them to play the game and harder to defend against our pumped up attacks. Now, I've mentioned Mineta's sticky balls quite a couple times already, and that's because they're the cornerstone of our attack lineup. When it comes to swinging at your rival, your first order of business is going to be making sure you've got lots of attacks that keep their card pool clogged. Mineta's signature attack here is going to ensure that after this move, there will be a card in their pool either through blocking or through its own effect. You should also be looking to open with things like Tongue Whip or Tape Stream Jab to immediately snap a card into their pool, turning on your enhance from the first attack onwards. The water symbol is home to probably the best card pool stuffing in the game, so this is never a difficult feat to pull off. A +2 damage buff to every attack you play is nothing to frown at, and as their card pool keeps getting stuffed more and more and their foundations keep getting committed down, it's gonna grow increasingly harder to stop those buffed up moves that you keep throwing. But what about once we've already turned on our enhance? Well, there's no such thing as enough sticky balls in your rival's card pool because we've got a ton of ways to take advantage of them. Between the scaling damage of things like Toss Tackle or the utility of Sticky Ball Whale picking itself up, you can gain a lot of benefit from doing just what your character already wants you to do. Let's shift gears now and think about our response. +2 damage can sometimes be enough to ward off your rival from blocking, preventing you from committing their resources, but that's not always the case. So anything that has a punishing ability when it is not blocked is going to have some considerable synergy within our character. Attacks like Water Pump with its extra burn damage really force your rival to block, and Tape Toss's Enhance is going to be able to force a commit either way your rival chooses to answer it. You should also look to include attacks that punish the other way. Moves that pack some potency when your rival does block can pull double punishment duty with Mineta's response, and oftentimes just result in a lot of free damage, especially if your rival doesn't want you finding more attacks through Ignited Arrow, or, of course, picking up all of your sticky balls with Grape Rush attack. Now, let's talk about closing games. There's a lot of good candidates for big damage moves across Mineta's symbols, and ones like 1.3 million volts that reach massive damage numbers can be even more potent when they're protected from speed reductions with Mineta's Commit Enhance. Moves like this can prove themselves pretty unstoppable even at their base speed once there's a few cards in your rival's card pool and their foundations are getting committed out. Speaking of base speed, I'm also really fond of some generic high speed moves in Mineta, things like Engine Rush and Cheerful Uppercut, as being able to lock your moves at 5 speed can just make it tough for your rival to deal with them sometimes. Now that was a lot of attacks to talk about. For such a little guy, Mineta has a lot of synergy with a myriad of moves, but now it's time to talk about foundations, and the biggest thing I want to push here is when it comes to our gray cards, we need some foundation pressure. Mineta's response to commit our rival's resource is definitely the most annoying part about him, and it only gets better the more and more we stack it up. Committing your rival's resources gets so much more hindering the more you're able to double down on it, and so that's what we want most of our board doing. The order symbol packs some of the best committing cards around, so we're just at no shortage for good choices. Daunting Message and Shock Treatment provide us with very great targeted committal to get the ones our rival won't select from Mineta, and then there's a slew of much more situational committing cards that we can tech in through things like Proud Scion and Desperate Times. What should the rest of our board be doing though? Well, even though we've got a chunky 27 health off, we're going to want to be getting our response off as much as possible, and we're also going to be cutting into that health total a lot, so we got to make sure we're blocking a ton. Water speed reduction and defensive tricks are some of the best in our game. Rescue completed and struggling with studies are going to keep any character in the game alive for a very long time. Our other symbols also sport lots of cards that are great at helping us block. Fusion and shock absorption aren't as crazy as some of the others, but they're going to make sure that we can at least pull off a couple blocks and really keep our rival's board pinned down. For the last of our foundations, I really want to look at cards that have a general focus on syncing up with our character. Obviously, anything that puts cards into our rival's card pool or gains benefits off of it are going to be must-haves. So, Sticky Balls and Creepy Realization are going to be right at home in our deck no matter the symbol. Excited for Blood is going to be great for replenishing our health as we burn through it, and Bench Press is going to love seeing us do that to stack even more damage on our moves. Lastly, I've got a couple cards that'll help us keep our hand filled up. Exhausted Exclamation is draw power that loves to see our character committed, and Dreaming of Glory is going to help us recurve those oh so important sticky attacks. Lastly, for actions and assets, there's not a ton that I'm super eager to jam into our deck, but things like Engine Trouble and Compressed Weights are not bad includes if you're looking to stack up even more committal power on your rival stage and area, and Sports Vessel Stadium is pretty nice for putting even more on block punishment to your attacks. And that's going to conclude our showcase today on Minoru Mineta. A big thanks again to Leenoco for commissioning this video. If you enjoyed and or learned anything from it, I'd really appreciate some feedback via the like button, and if you want more quality MHA CCG content like this, the subscribe button is what you want to smash. And if that doesn't do it for you, you can also hit the join button to become a channel member, gets to support my work even further, and is going to score you some sweet perks like those badges and emotes when I stream on YouTube. And of course, if you want to commission your very own video like this, you can check out my Patreon to select a character for me to cover, or any of my other tiers to further show you support. I will have the links to everything in the description and the pinned comment down below. Above all else though, thanks just for making it to the end of this video. That's all the time I've got for today, but I hope I can see you in the next one.